Hey there, welcome everybody. I'm live from not my hometown right now. I'm traveling, but I want to weigh in on this story that just showed up. It's one that I'm responding to actually because it's something that I've been interested in. It's something that we've been working on with our Doge efforts. And so I was really surprised when I found out that there was an ICE raid in Chicago at the National Museum for Puerto Rican Arts and Culture. And in response to that, you had a number of Chicago Democrats come out and put out a press release and have an actual gathering. This is the whole press release. As you can see, it was from a Twitter feed. I got it from this Twitter feed above. Mike Aquindon actually noticed that there was ICE at the Puerto Rican Museum. This happened, of course, yesterday. And in response, they had a little bit of a discussion about it with a number of elected officials. So here's how the press release reads at first. It says, community leaders and elected officials will gather tomorrow, Wednesday, which was today, at the National Museum of Puerto Rican Arts and Culture for a press conference to address a disturbing incident involving an unannounced and warrantless presence at least a dozen Homeland Security officers on museum grounds. The incident occurred around 4 p.m. on Tuesday when 15 to 20 Homeland Security vehicles arrived without prior notice or legal documentation. Federal agents entered the museum property and refused multiple requests to present a warrant, badge, or identification. Officers informed museum staff that they were assessing entry and exit points for upcoming events that may draw undocumented attendees. Well, what would that be? That would probably be this event, which is going on, which is an arts festival. And sure enough, that's what people are concerned about. They're concerned about that ICE is going to come in during this arts festival and sort of round up folks that they think are there illegally, or maybe they have them actually identified, physically identified. They know who they're looking for. And there was multiple reports about this particular ICE raid. And from what I can read and what I can gather, yes, the ICE agents did gather there. Yes, they were sort of scoping out the area, but they were also there to essentially look for narcotics. At least that's the official position from the ICE raid. Now, I think that this is really interesting because what I think viewers should know is that this particular museum, the National Museum of Puerto Rican Art and Cultures, last year's budget received $2.75 million from state taxpayers. That's what they were given. And I don't know if I have it here. I don't think I added it to the stage, but that's something that people should be aware of. And they got a number of grants, not just for programming, but also for infrastructure and repair. And a parallel organization to them called Segundo Ruiz Belvis Cultural Center, which is another Puerto Rican cultural center. They received over $2 million from state taxpayers to fund their organization. I think it's a lot of money for these organizations to be receiving from state taxpayers. I mean, I can understand if Chicago wants to get involved here, maybe they want to give them some money. But more than anything, this is another example of an NGO receiving lots and lots of money and then throwing their hands up in the air if anybody comes into their territory unannounced and says, we're here, we're gathering information, and oh well. And by the way, the fact that they in their press release, they say they entered the building, from what I've read, one of the ICE agents asked to use the bathroom. That was entering the building, and they were invited in to do so. So, I mean, they're making a whole bunch of nothing out of this. But in case you're wondering, here's the people that were there at that press conference. Of course, you have Billy Ocasio. He is the president of this organization. He's super connected, and he makes his living off of this. And of course, we're subsidizing his living to $2 million to run their cultural center. And of course, Veronica is his wife. So this is a duo married couple here. They're the ones making a ton of money. Of course, Delia Ramirez was there. She's, of course, we know about her and her history. Her mother came across undocumented illegally. That's Delia, and she was an anchor baby. You've got the state senator here, another state senator, state representative Jimenez, and then you've got a number of alder people here too, and a Cook County commissioner. And then you've got, of course, Jose Lopez. He's the executive director of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. So you've got all these folks here, that are essentially there for a press conference that about nothing. I mean, nothing happened. They gathered at that location. Yes, they did. Did they arrest anybody? No, they didn't do anything, but they knew that they were looking for stuff. And why is this important? Because if you look here at the Illinois Coalitions for Immigrant and Refugee Rights, they receive millions of dollars from the state of Illinois. And their whole goal right now is to try and make sure that illegal immigrants who are residing here know their rights and know, and these guys are willing to protect them at all costs. So I just thought like this was not a full article that was written by the press. They wrote about the ICE raid. They wrote about this press conference that they had, but nobody connected the dots saying, you know what, why are we giving these folks all of this money? Nobody connected the dots on that. Why are they getting any taxpayer money whatsoever? They shouldn't. So I don't know, just incomplete story. And I think it's important that people know where their money is going to, and that organizations like this should actually comply and help with the law enforcement of making sure that ICE is removing people here who are illegal, instead of, coming out with this bogus press conference, because now that they did this, they deserve much more scrutiny, and people should know that you're paying for this. So I just wanted to kind of weigh in on this issue. And that's all I had for tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.